Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Leanna and today we're talking pricing strategy. I want to price my items so that when they sell, I make as much money as I possibly can. If this is the kind of content that you like, I upload every Tuesday and Friday, so don't forget to subscribe. Okay, onwards and upwards. We're going to talk about in the thrift store, we're going to talk about when you're listing, and we're going to talk about how to price, basically is what we're going to do. So at a thrift store, which is where your pricing strategy begins, there's a couple of different approaches that I use when I pick up items. You need to be aware of what you can sell them for. That is part of your business. It's probably one of the most important parts because you need to do the math. Cost of goods into what you can sell it for, profit. That's very simple there. So while I'm sourcing, if I come across a style or a brand that I'm not familiar with, I don't know who that is. When I'm not familiar with, I will do a comp search right then and there in the thrift store. All a comp search is when you go to whatever platform you want, you type in the brand name and the style or whatever, and you bring up everything that's available. You can filter it down to what has sold, and that's what a comp search is. It tells you what something has sold for in the last little while. That's a very general, simple way to put it. But if I'm not familiar with the brand and I think the style is cute, I will look it up. Absolutely do that comp search in the thrift store, because if I look it up and it's not even on the platforms or it's only selling for $10 but they want $8.99 for it at the thrift store, chances are I'm not going to buy it because it's not going to sell for enough money or it's not going to sell. If I find that there is thousands and thousands of this item available on all the platforms and only like 100 have sold, I'm probably not going to pick it up as well because the market is saturated and mine's not going to sell unless it's for a really low amount. So that's the number one sort of approach that I have. The next approach is if I have an item that I find at the thrift store that I have sold very recently, chances are I won't do a comp search and I will just pick up that item. So for instance, just recently we went to a local Goodwill. I picked up this Cloud Veil Merino Wool XXL base layer. It's a long sleeve, base layer shirt. Very simple. It cost me $6.29. I did not do a comp search because I just recently in the last month sold a black one of the same brand, of the same material. I think the size was a large, for $25 US. So for me in Canada, that in US dollars does make a difference. So there's enough profit in there for me that I didn't even bother to do the comp search. It's also the right season for that item because it's a more of a skiing outdoor type of thing. The next approach that I have at the thrift store is brands that I am aware of, brands that I buy on a regular basis, and I know in the back of my head that they sell. Maybe not for the best, but they do sell. So depending on the price point at the thrift store, my cost of goods, I may or may not pick it up. For instance, Torrid. I love Torrid. Torrid sells fairly well and fairly quickly, but I have noticed that there is a sort of, the market has been saturated with it and the sale price point is going lower and lower. My thrift stores mark it up, so I'm very lucky to find it under $8, $9, $10, $15. I won't pick it up for that price because it's not worth it for me because it's not selling for enough profit. So I know that when I'm at the thrift store, when I see Torrid, I have to make sure that it is the right price point and I know it will sell. But another one of those brands that I know sells well and it sells for a bit higher for me is this one, Desi Gal. So I picked up this skirt because you know what? It's still kind of wintry, but it's also probably good for spring. I picked this up for $6.29 without doing a comp search because I know the brand. It's a good brand. The weirder the pattern, probably the better. But these skirts are comping about $35, $40, which I'm happy with. I didn't do that comp search until I got home, and I'll tell you about that in a second. The next item I'm going to talk about is, again, let's see if I can get this right, Desi Gal. There we go. This is the Altogether dress. Pardon me. It's got this really cool graphic on it. It is long sleeve. It's very sort of steampunky, witchy. I can't think of any other words at the moment, but it's different. And the weirder the pattern, the better. I paid $7.99 for this dress. It is, again, they're comping out about $40, $50. So I love that. I know that I have recently sold this brand, so I don't have to worry about doing a comp search. If I hadn't sold this brand for months, say the last time I sold this brand was like September, I would have done a comp search because they change. The comps change season to season, month to month. If you have not sold a brand for a while, I recommend doing your comp search at the thrift store because it doesn't always stay the same. Comps change. If you take anything away from this video, know that your comps change, just like bolos. Sometimes an item is a bolo and sometimes it's not. They change. So you have to be aware of the evolution of your brands, okay? So that's what I do at the thrift store. And I want to make sure that I have enough profit in an item before I pick it up. When I get it home, when I'm ready to list, these are not ready to list yet. I have not photographed them or drafted them, but I pretended I did. I do a deeper comp search when I get home, when I go to list. Google Images is my friend. I will type into Google whatever the item is, the brand, if I know a style name or something to describe it, and I look at images. And on the images, you get lots of different things. You get eBay listings, Poshmark, Depop, Mercari, The Real, anything else that comes up. And you get all of this information. And if you're lucky, you may even get the item in the original website from the brand, which is really cool because you get lots of good information from that. That means I can look across platforms to see what they're selling at, and it will help me not only with my price point, but it helps me with my description, and it helps me with, my keywords. And that's a really good sort of fount of information for you. When I do this, when I go to do my drafting, I also look on the platform that I am listing it on, and I look at what's available. And I look at what's sold as well, but I look at what's available. And I go to those listings that are expensive and think, okay, what is so good about this listing? What is so wonderful? What is different with this item to my item? Is the condition new with tags? Is are there tons of pictures? And I sort of look at that as information to go, okay, this listing, they want $70, but they have 2 photos and no measurements, and the description only says good condition kind of thing. And we all know those listings exist and they do sell still, but anyway, I look at that and think, how can I make my listing better? I use up all my photos. I give measurements. I try to give all my keywords and all that kind of stuff. And that helps me to price mine, because if all the comps, if all what's available is in the $40 to $50 range, but you have an item that's new with tags, and these are all used, you know that you can price your new with tags higher. And you're going to want to do that because it's worth more, right? I always take into consideration the condition of my items. I have to keep in mind what my cost of goods was and how much I absolutely, at the lowest level, want to earn from this sale. So, for instance, with that Desi Gal dress, I spent $7.99 on it. I know that I want to earn, and this is earn before I take out the cost of goods, I want to earn at least $25 to $30 on this dress. So, I'm going to price it. I'm going to price it right now, and I don't go by what Poshmark tells me to price it at because they have that little suggestion at the bottom. I don't use that at all. I look to see, what's available, what it's sold. I also keep in mind what I want to earn. With offers, you need to leave wiggle room. Now, I don't know about you, but I have had really low offers lately across the board. Poshmark Canada, Poshmark US, eBay, it's been lower offers. I think it's just sign of the times right now. But if I want to earn $25 to $30 on this dress, then I'm going to list it at $60. That way, if I get a 50% off offer, which is what's happening, somebody offers me 30, then you know what? I have more wiggle room. I can come down to 45 and maybe they go up to 35, and I know that after that 35 mark, I'm well within my bubble of earning what I want to earn. So I price accordingly to get wiggle room. And with offers being as low as they are, pricing a little bit higher is okay. So those are those 3 examples. I have a couple more examples for you, and they're about finding these items that you think are really cute, they're a good brand, but you can't find any comps on them. So I found this just recently on our last little thrift haul, is Lane Bryant. It is a really super cute yellow trench coat. I love the color. I think I noticed it just recently. I do have a mark on here. So I am going to wash it, because I don't normally wash coats. I'm going to wash it and see if I can get that out. But for now, we're going to pretend it's not there. I would list it still, and I would disclose the flaw, but it would bring my price point down a bit. Anyway, I picked this up for color, for style. It's a trench coat. It's coming up in the season for that. Good brand. Lane Bryant is a fairly good higher end mall brand in my books. I paid $9.99. I'm not sure if I told you that. I can't find this jacket. I can find similar ones, and their sold comps are only $30. And I'm thinking, okay, that's not a good buy then, because $10 basically into $30, yeah, not great. So what do I do? Well, you know what? I will still list this if all things are right. When I list it, I'll make sure that, I have all the photos I possibly can. I have my mannequin photos. I have everything. I do a fantastic description with all the keywords I possibly can. I put measurements in, everything, and I list it a little bit higher than everybody else. Why? Because you know what? There's not a lot available, so there's nothing really to compare it to. Now, it's kind of niche because of the color. I don't think everybody loves yellow, but when you come to this type of thing where you can't find anything on the platforms that even resembles it, my suggestion is to price it high, because it's so much easier to come down lower. I price it high. If I get no attention, then you know what? I revisit it in a month, and maybe I relist it and bring the price down a bit. But I always start high, because why not? I mean, if somebody is willing to, say for instance, I'm going to list this jacket at $60. Off the top of my head, $60. I want to earn at least 30. So that means I got to sell it at what is that? 38? 38-ish. So I'm going to list it at 60. We'll see. I mean, depending, and somebody offers me 30, well, then I'm much closer to that 38, right? So we'll see what happens. I don't mind starting things higher. I know that once in a while I do get a comment on my listings like, why is it so expensive? Which you all know about if you watched a previous video about comments on your listings. I start them high. If it's something rare, something limited edition, I do start it higher in order to test the waters. Why not? Especially on Poshmark, it costs you nothing to list. You can relist it very simply, so why not? And if you get a higher price point or sale price, go for it. That is it. Yeah, that's what I do for pricing. Leave wiggle room. I do comp searches under certain circumstances. Talking. Anyway, that is it for today. Let me know down below if you think this is a good strategy. Do you do things differently? I don't know, it's Monday. Maybe I shouldn't actually record these videos on a Monday, and I should record them Tuesday mornings, and I'd feel better, and I wouldn't go blah, blah, blah to you. Anyway, that's it. I hope everybody has a fantastic week, and I'll see you on Friday. I'm looking forward to Friday's video. Bye, guys.